Hi everyone, my name is Vasudha. Welcome to my channel. It's been a really long time since we last met. If you remember, my last video was 3 months ago in April when I had just landed to Canada, and things changed drastically for me soon after I came here. We all know about the second wave of the pandemic back in India. Some of us were really unfortunate to have lost our loved ones, and I was just settling in as it is to my new routine here after a year coming back to Canada, and every day some sad piece of news used to pour in from back home. Losing loved ones was really disturbing and painful, to say the least, and it just took a while for me to get back to my normal routine. I'm still grappling with the emotional crisis and turmoil which the pandemic left us in, and I'm just trying to now get into my normal routine. I'm trying to reprioritize my life, and we have to put the broken pieces of our heart together. We have to weave them together, and we have to learn to march on. So today I just thought that I should now try and come back to the things that I was doing earlier, and I should share with you that what are my top few priorities and what I would like to keep myself busy with in the coming time. So I just wrote down, as you know, I like to pen down my thoughts. I am more of a journal person, and I just took one of my journals which my husband had given me as a New Year gift. If you remember, you must have seen this. You can check my earlier videos on my journal collection, and I just started writing my top 5-6 priorities. To be honest, the word priorities is not to be used in plural, it's meant to be singular. I read it in a book recently. I would share more about that book hopefully in another video, and I just write down some of the most important things, rather I should say, that I really like doing, I'm passionate about doing, and I would love to continue doing. So very quickly I'll show you what I've written over here. I'm not even sure if you can see this. So what I really love doing, number one, is to learn, and I do that mostly through reading. I love reading books, expanding my knowledge and learning new things every day. So that's one thing that I really want to focus on in the coming days as well, in the coming times as well. So that's one thing I cannot miss out on. And one really good thing about Canada here is the library system. So I have the library membership here, and they also will offer 2 apps that we can download, and we can then listen to audiobooks as well. So even when the libraries were closed for a brief period because of the pandemic, you could still download books. They have ebooks and they have audiobooks, and you could continue your reading habit. So for me it comes handy, because when I am cooking or when I am cleaning the house or I'm doing something else, I can also listen to audiobooks. So that's one thing I would love to continue doing. The other thing that I love doing is participating in good conversations, intellectual discussions on topics which are really interesting and contemporary, sometimes even from history, of course from politics and so on. So for the last couple of months, I've started participating in online book clubs and online book discussions over here, and I myself used to have a book club of mine back in Delhi for about 4 years, and it was really successful and thriving, but because I had to come here, so I had to close it down. and I learned a lot from the members of those book clubs. Some of us are still friends even now, and that was a very good platform for me to learn new things. So same thing I'm doing here, participating in many book clubs as and when I get time, and as and when something interests me, the topics or the books. I have to say that most of the book clubs that I am attending are US based. Because of pandemic, again, many book clubs must have moved online, so they are still continuing their virtual book discussion, and therefore even someone who is not in the US but pretty much in the same time zone, someone who is close to their time zones, can also join in. It would have been difficult for me to participate in these online discussions coming out from the US when I was in India, but being here in Canada, I can take advantage of the different book club discussions and meetings that take place online. But I have to be honest that I'm a little disappointed with the book club discussions here, and I'm not finding it too exciting, to be very honest. So I'm really tempted to start my own book club here, but it's a lot of commitment, and I'm really contemplating about starting one, but I have to see my schedules and I have to see my routines. So this is one thing that's on my mind. Let's see in the coming weeks or months I'm able to do that or not. The next thing that I would really like to do is to continue with my YouTube channel, of course. And again, YouTube is something which is, I would say, a full-time job. I mean, creating content and then making videos and editing is altogether a different ball game. It's really time consuming. So this is one thing on my mind, and as you know, whether it is reading or whether it is participating in book clubs or even my YouTube channel, the one good thing is that they have a common theme, which is books. So in that sense, I think I can surely continue my YouTube channel on a regular basis, because if I'm reading a book or I'm listening to a book, then I would surely like to share it with you, and I would surely like to start my own book club and discuss that book or those books in there too. So YouTube is another thing that I am really keen on continuing, so let's hope for the best. Then another thing is journaling. I really have to give myself time for journaling because it takes time, and I love to write down my thoughts. I really feel a mental clutter when my thoughts are not on paper. I have to jot them down. There's so much that I think, there's so much that I feel that I cannot contain it in my head, so I have to write it down on my journals, and for that I need time. I keep thinking that I have to wake up early in the morning, at least 1 hour before my usual time, and I should spend that 1 hour journaling and so on and so forth, but it never happens. So journaling is something I really have to get back to, and I have started doing something on that front, and I'm experimenting with a different style of journaling for the very first time. But this is something I would really want to continue, and I want to inculcate it in my daily routine, or at least my weekly routine. Once or twice a week I would like to journal, and there is so much to write, and there are so many thoughts to pour out, and there are so many different styles of journaling that I really want to try. So another thing I have to keep my fingers crossed for is that I continue my journaling. Then another thing is DIY. Now I am very big on DIYs, and I DIY practically. I've started DIYing everything. I used to make soaps. I used to DIY my own lip balms and body butter. I used to also make homemade pickles and chutneys and so on. And I'm a very homely person that ways. And I recently have also started DIYing my own skincare products, and it's a different story altogether. But what I'm saying is that I love to DIY, and of course, not to forget my DIY passion for crafts. I like to create new things from recycling items and so on and so forth, and craft supplies, and make new things out of it. Or I just like to create something, randomly, and especially with my child also, because he's in that age group right now where he can do a lot of craft things, and school also gives craft projects. So that ways I enjoy doing my DIYs. So that's another thing that I would like to continue doing. And I love, there is something just so fascinating and charming about doing things yourself, making things with your own hands, whether it's a soap or whether it's a skincare product, or even if it's something like making your own pickles and jams and things like that. So that's another thing I would love to continue doing. And last but not the least, I really want to continue with my Bible study, and by God's grace I am able to do my Bible study every day. And another good thing here is that not only I am doing my own Bible study, I read the Bible, I try to understand the Word of God and meditate on it, but at the same time I feel so blessed that God has given me a platform again to connect with different Bible study groups online. And again, these are also mostly based in the US, and I'm so glad that because they are virtual, I am able to participate in them. So I practically every day I attend at least 1 hour of Bible study group online, and I am benefiting a lot from that. I'm learning a lot about the Word of God, and I really feel blessed about it. So that's for sure something I will be continuing in the future as well. So these were my top 6 things that I really want to do in the coming months, and learn, grow, share my knowledge, exchange ideas in whichever way I can. This is practically the motto of my life, or the purpose of my life as I see it. And if you liked anything about this video, please give it a thumbs up. And until next video, thank you, stay safe, please take very good care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.